I remember being in a workshop a few months ago, actually. This, oddly enough, it was a workshop that a local elected official, Assembly member, New York State Assembly member Stephanie Zinnerman was hosting. She, caught the fever and understood that Project 2025 was a real thing. And when I say caught the fever, I mean she caught the fever to do good. And she had launched these series of workshops that were designed to help everyday New Yorkers understand what Project 2025 was, and did a phenomenal job. And unfortunately, just not enough people listened, but whatever, moving on. Anyway, at one of these workshops, the question was asked for all of us to list the community institutions that were going to be important as it pertains to what role they would play in helping us to navigate some of the difficulties of Project 2025. And we came up with a variety of them, the church and sororities and fraternities and civic institutions and groups like, NCNW, which is, for those of you who don't know, National Council of Negro Women, and just all these different organizations. And we talked about healthcare institutions like hospitals and education institutions like schools and universities. And we were at a phenomenal institution in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Restoration Plaza. So we started listing those sorts of groups and those sorts of buildings and structures like Restoration Plaza and all these other institutions that were what we tend to think about when we think about community, or when we think about community institutions, rather. And then the facilitator of the workshop, great brother, great workshop. Can't remember his name. He was dope. And next time I see him, I'm going to try to find out his name. But he did a super good job. And he was like, well, I've got some institutions that no one has mentioned. Anybody want to give a try, give an effort? Just, these are the obvious ones. Come on, guys, dig deep, he was saying. And we dug deep and came up with some more names. And you've got, National Action Network. You've got, my organization came up, the Center for Law and Social Justice at Medgar Evers College. And we went back and forth. And he was like, guys, you're making it more difficult than it needs to be. He was like, how about the family unit? That's a community institution, right? How about your friendship circles? Those are community institutions. And it sort of opened up our eyes collectively to the realization that, hey, there's more to our notion of what makes a community than we even realize. And we all are part of some sort of family unit. We're all part of some sort of friendship circle, but hadn't thought about those as a part of the community institutions that do the work of upholding community institutions, or I should say community institutions that do the work of upholding community. So it was an important reminder as to the power of working together. And so we're going to sit in that space a little bit in today's moment of gratitude. I guess I technically just gave you a preview as to the moment of gratitude, but whatever. Y'all, it's goodness all around. Ramadan Mubarak to all who observe. I pray that this time of fasting and of observation is a beautiful and blessed one for all of you. And let me formally welcome all of you to Black Talk Landia. And as you know, for those of you who have been listening for any length of time, Black Talk Landia is the name of this space where we do our best to embody the best in the Black Talk radio tradition. And that means that we have the difficult conversations about how this world that we live in right now, how it got to be so darn messy when it comes to issues of race, gender, culture, identity, politics, and the law. And these conversations are necessary because they help us learn how to be better people who learn how to build better communities. And as a result, we are then able to shape a better world. And for us, that is how talk empowers and becomes action. We got a lot to get to today. I have some last minute schedule shuffling around. So I think it's going to be you and me today. We've got our friends at Hood Medicine. We had to move some things around because they had some things happening on their side. I want you to continue to appreciate the work that Hood Medicine does and how valuable they are an institution and how valuable they are to this space. And so we were not going to hear from Hood Medicine today as we usually do on Mondays. Oh, look at that. It's 10:10 on March 10. That's great. 3 10s. I love numeric patterns like that. I just looked at the clock. I was like, wow, 3 10s in a row on the third month of the year. Something magical about them. And it's not just daylight savings time, which quite frankly kicked my behind. Did y'all know that we were springing forward this weekend? Because I promise you, I did not realize it was this past weekend, which was a challenge, honey. Let me just tell you, because I was dance momming this weekend. I was in my dance mom space. Baby girl had a convention And we had to travel because it wasn't close. And so we was on the road, on the road, like we was on the road. And I was in dance mom heaven. Me and the other dance moms who are part of the dance school, were there and doing our dance mom thing. And then somebody because the thing with dance conventions is that moms and parents, I should say, because there's dance dads. But usually it's dance moms. And we are not like the dance moms on that show, Dance Moms, with Abby Lee, which quite frankly scares the crap out of me. That's for any of you who have seen it. My daughter and I got hooked on it during the pandemic, and that woman, whew, scary stuff. So we're not like that. Like, we are a group of dance moms, like super dope sisters, like amazing, like just dope, good energy. All of us here for the babies. Like it's the opposite of what you saw on that show, or even on. What was the one, the dancing dolls? There was another one. So Abby Lee Dance Moms tended to be all white moms, and then there was the one black mom and daughter there. But then there was another show, Dancing Divas or Dancing Dolls, and this was based in the South. And no, we don't have none of that type of drama. That's all made for TV. We get along, like it's our kids get along. They're like each other's besties. It's a dope institution to be a part of. Also, there you go, another community institution. Boom! Now I'm seeing them all over the place. But so we're on the road, and we're going to the dance mom. We're going to the convention, but at the conventions, you're not allowed to like be up in the space because parents don't necessarily have the most objective of eyes. Like, if you ask me, my child is the best dancer in the world. Like, clearly there's no question. Like, she's the best dancer in the world. And so parents, it doesn't really help the dance convention space to have parents all up inside of the room. So we get to the conventions, we drop them off, we give them to their teachers, and then we go. And so we brunched. And as we're brunching, somebody's like, yeah, y'all, don't forget, we have to make these agreements because our girls, they conspire against us. And so we had to make these agreements with each other ahead of time. Like, listen, we here at brunch, but we're not doing this tonight with the girls. Like, when the girls are done, we all going back to our hotel rooms and we going to sleep. We're not doing this. Let's have a play date. Like, we ain't doing that. So the moms have to be in agreement, because otherwise we'll get overwhelmed by the girls. And then one mom will feel guilty because the girls will be like, well, so-and-so's mom said we could. And then it's like, then there's confusion. And then in that confusion, the youthful geniuses that are our children, they take over. So the moms had to get on the same page. And we was like, hey, listen, don't none of y'all get weak up in here. We ain't doing this whole late night dancing dinner after convention dinner tonight because we got to go to bed. And then one of the moms was like, yeah, because, it's daylight savings. And I was like, it's what? Like, what are you talking about? It's this weekend? I promise you, I thought we had 2 more weeks. I promise you. Actually, let me not even promise you that. I hadn't even thought about it, to be very honest with you. Had not thought about daylight savings time at all. It was not even a part of my awareness. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it on Friday, so y'all would not have had the during the weekend experience that I had, where I realized in real time that I was about to lose an hour of sleep, knowing I'm already tired. So daylight savings kicked my behind, because then, the next morning they got to get up and they got to be at the studio by 7 in the morning. And if you late, them studio doors close and you and your daughter just sitting there looking at each other like that Spider-Man meme, like when you're trying to figure out who's to blame for why your child is on the outside of the space that they're supposed to be in, that you paid too much money for them to be in. So that was my weekend. And I'm exhausted, but in a really good way, because it was just beautiful. The sun is out here in the Northeast. It's going to be in the 60s today, which is that's all I needed to hear, honey, to get over my anger at daylight savings time, which is a national program that I don't really like. I don't think daylight savings time is that great of an idea. I think it's a terrible idea, actually. But the sun is shining. I'm feeling amazing. I got to work out today. I got to drink my tea, and I'm going to take a walk later on. I feel like if we're approaching spring, we're doing so in a good space. And so I'm just grateful to be here on a Monday. I hope you are all as well. Also excited about the fact that the latest edition, or latest episode rather, of my podcast is out. Lurie Breaks It Down. This morning, episode 4, which takes a brief look at the weird and twisted history of school integration and its connection to the current efforts to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility programs in our schools. Now, I promise y'all, this is not going to be an education podcast. It just so happens that we're sitting in this space right now because of everything that is happening nationally when it comes to education. But we're going to be exploring a variety of topics because the idea behind Lurie Breaks It Down is that we connect the dots, and we are doing so. We're connecting dots as it pertains to topics that are driving the news cycle, but which are incompletely covered. When by that I mean you listen to the news and you're like, well, how did that happen? Or that don't make no damn sense. What? And so it's the what? It's the that don't make no damn sense. That's where Lurie Breaks It Down, the podcast, comes in, because we take those that don't make no sense. What the hell does this mean? And we explain it. And we give you the background, and we help people to understand better what's happening. We don't get a lot of education on social topics in school. We certainly don't get a lot of education when it comes to civics or community power, or even how families and individuals can show up in ways within their community to really create the type of world we want to see. So that's the conversation that we're having on Lurie Breaks It Down. Today's episode is out, and it is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday drop. Monday, Wednesday, Friday drop. I'm saying that because I'm also now reading the comments and the reviews. Thank you. Let your sister friend just tell you, I say thank you. Thank you to all of you who thought it not robbery to give it 5 stars, because it's doing amazingly well. And I'm so grateful for all of you for sharing it. And I want to speak to something that a caller said on Karen Hunter's show on Friday when Roderick Morrow was there. And it stuck with me all weekend because of what the comment was and because of Roderick Morrow's response to the comment. But the caller was being very respectful. There was nothing rude or disrespectful about it. And they were basically saying, I am overwhelmed. It is too much information. It's Urban View all day. Now y'all got the podcast. You got the YouTube. It's a lot. It's too much. It's like a fire hose. I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose. And I was like, well, yeah, that can happen, because it is a lot. It is a lot. And then Karen was like, yes, well, you do have to use your time wisely. And Roderick was like, hey, man, it's a fire. Of course, it's a fire hose. In fact, everybody should be drinking from a fire hose, and you should be contributing to the flow of water, because we can't stop, because this thing ain't going to stop. And so there is a lot to take in. But I also want to say that the podcast, at least for me, is as much as it is for you all here at Urban View and for our beautiful Nubians. And as much as it is for you, it's really also for the people who don't have SiriusXM. I mean, and they will get access to it because you all will validate it, and you all will say, hey, listen to this thing, or hey, I just listened to this podcast. It's super short. Like today's was actually one of the longer ones for the week. It's like 30 minutes. But other than that, it's like 20 minutes. But you all are the ones who will sort of validate the work that we're doing on these multiple outlets where we're showing up. And that's important, because the people who aren't here on SiriusXM, they're going to need that so that they're able to do what's necessary and get access to the information. If they don't have Sirius, then they're missing out on a lot of goodness. And in order to make sure that they're getting something of that, I mean, they're not going to get the full SiriusXM experience. You can't do that outside of this space. But in order for them to get access to the information, to break down the chokehold that ignorance and lack of information seems to have on this nation, we need you all to do the work of spreading this content. And then, because it's damn good content, yes, you're going to want to listen to it too. And I get it. It's a lot. But think about all the time you're saving. Most of us ain't watching like cable news anymore. We're not watching all of these outlets anymore. I mean, it's kind of funny, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, boy, there's nothing I want to watch on TV. Let me read something, which is a very, very, very important thing. It's a good move to make. So I know it feels like a lot, and it is, and it's going to continue to, but that's okay, because we are here for it. We're building the muscular infrastructure for it. And frankly, it feels good. Let's just be honest. It feels really good. When I saw Clay and Reese on YouTube, and it wasn't during their show, it was just Clay and Reese together, I was like, oh my God, that is so dope. I just love Clay and Reese together. I feel like they are not a Bonnie and Clyde. It's a different relationship, but they are just, I love them together. And so being able to see them, not just in the serious space, but seeing them elsewhere, it's amazing. And it feels good. I feel better informed. And I love it. I love it. And so because I'm so in love with it, I'm so in love with y'all, I think that we're all going to be just fine.